What's up, fertility fam? How are you? Happy Friday! It's Friday Night Live. I'm two screening it. So the camera's on this side, my other monitor's over here. I'm just gonna try to pull this up so I can see your comments. So I can't see you all yet. Or if you're saying anything, I can't see that for you. Here we go. Okay, now I can. It's gonna be weird because now I'm seeing my profile. Hey, Tanika TTC. Hey, how are you? Jessica, Mrs. Living in Hope. Okay, I'm gonna move the comments over here so I'm not doing that. I don't like how that looks. Hello, ladies. Happy Friday. I hope that you are well. First off, can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, let me know in the comments. Hey, IVF Bahama Mama. Who else is in here? Journey to Joy or Journey to Baby Bounce. Hey, Latundra. Oh, thank you, Mrs. Living in Hope. Hey, Mrs. Living in Hope. Yes, loud and clear. Okay, awesome. Yes, thank God it's Friday. I watched your video today, Tanika. You're living in a treehouse. Hopefully that has been resolved. That was scary. Hey, Latundra. Hey, Denisha. Hey, Jessica. All right, everybody can hear me. Awesome. I hope you ladies are well. So I think, hopefully I'm not going to get too fancy here. There's a way to show you guys what's on my screen because there is yeah, here we go. First, I'm going to just pull that up. We'll get to that in a second. I'm glad everybody's well. Any BFPs, anybody in their 2-week wait, anybody need to be talked off of a ledge before we get started? How are you guys doing? Hey, Shauna. Hey, Christina. Happy Friday. Hey, Marsha. Oh, you're at work. Okay. We're going to say hi first and then we'll jump into it. I just want to check on everybody. Journey to Baby, is it Bunsy is filing her 2-week wait now that my OPKs have stopped being at peak and high LH. Yay. 2-week wait. Hey, Dennett, me too. Tomorrow is 1 DPO, I believe. Oh, you're at the beginning of your 2-week wait. Okay. Yeah, let me tell you guys, I got one of those aroma, oh my God, now what is it? The little misty thing, I finally got one and I had it all last night with the lavender oil between that, my candle. So it's you put the essential oil in it and the steam comes out. So I had that with the lavender oil, the weighted blanket. I'm sleeping really well, but it has been nerve-wracking. Like dunce with a B, buns. Like dunce where you wear a dunce hat? A dunce cap? Okay. All right, Jessica, chances are not, oh, hang in there, honey. There's always a chance. Diffuser, that's what it is. It's a essential oil diffuser. Thank you. Which also apparently is like a little humidifier, which has been great. Sticky, sticky baby dust in it. Oh, Tanika TTC's wishing you baby dust. Exactly like that. Okay. Done. So Journey to Baby Bunts. All right. So you are at the beginning of your 2-week wait. Hey, Yessie. Okay, so let's get started. Now that we've all checked in, I'm glad you guys are well. We'll talk about little tips and tricks for the 2-week wait at the end, but it looks like we have a few of us here, 26 here. So I posted a video earlier this week about my meeting at first at Share Fertility and what that doctor was saying, or actually that might have been last week. This week was when I went to my OBGYN and she gave me the card and I was talking about my dermatologist who had 3 of her abnormal embryos transferred. And I want to be specific. They were mosaics. She was the first person to have them transferred into her. And it was Dr. Zhang, who was the doctor that who's at New Hope Fertility. That's who my OBGYN referred me to, which I thought was interesting because it seems to be that triangle with my dermatologist, Dr. Halem, that it keeps coming back to her. And so a lot of people had questions about that. One, when I said that the doctor, I think it's O'Heininger at Share Fertility was recommending PGS testing. And I had said before that I wasn't going to do PGS testing. He recommended banking. And then when I mentioned Dr. Halem having had the PGS testing and then having mosaic embryos transferred, and they were all normal children, there was questions about that because I think one of you ladies, and I don't remember, I'm sorry, said that they thought all abnormal automatically meant that they were Down syndrome, which is not quite how it works. So I just wanted to hop on and talk to all of you ladies about it. I know there's a lot of thoughts and feelings about it. First of all, does everybody know what PreGenetic screening is? Because I pulled up some stuff. I don't want to misquote anything. I also have links in the description box. I will say anything that you get from a fertility website or a fertility clinic and or a clinic that does, or Cooper Genomics who does testing, you have to take it with a grain of salt, right? Because they are selling you a service. So there's marketing in there. So you're gonna have to read between some of the lines. But one that I really liked, I got from the, what is it? The NCBI, which is accuracy of preimplantation genetic screening, how it can be compromised by a degree of mosaicism of human embryos. And I think that's the first or the second link in the description box below. Don't they rule out the best ones? Best essential oil spot at home store. Oh, nice. Okay. So yes and no. What typically has happened, Yessie, with the, first of all, let me just say what it is for anybody who's coming in or kind of heard about it and not done any research on it. So PGS is a genetic test that takes place before the embryo transfer, designed to tell you if each embryo is chromosomally healthy. An embryo that is euploid, normal, has 23 pairs of chromosomes and has a better chance at leading to a successful live birth than an abnormal or aneuploid embryo. Aneuploid embryos have missing or extra chromosomes and will typically fail to implant, result in a miscarriage, or lead to the birth of a child with a chromosomal disease, which one of them can be Down syndrome. Not all of them. So they're depending on which chromosomes are missing or where there's an extra one, that depends on how the embryo is affected. Women with several embryos may use PGS testing to pick the embryo with the best chance at making a baby. For those with only a single embryo available, it's pretty clear which one you'll choose, right? So it's some ladies use it, and I know you guys have seen it. I mean, we all watch YouTube. Some ladies are having like 30, 40 eggs at retrieval time. And so then there has to be a weeding out process. I think we all, when we go through IVF, are very much aware that all of the embryos or all of the eggs are not going to make it. Now, are they not going to make it because they don't fertilize, or they're not going to make it because we never use them, right? But we know that there could be some extra. And so as technology evolved with the IVF, they came up with the PreGenetic screening. First, you have the grading, right? So they look at the grades. Well, let me go back. First, you have to retrieve them. Then they have to be mature. They will only attempt to fertilize the mature eggs. Then you have to get confirmation of fertilization. Then they have to grow, right? And so in order for it to even be considered for PGS testing, it has to grow to the Blastocyst stage, which is typically a day 5 embryo. And what they're taking from the embryo is the outside of it, which is actually going to be the placenta of the embryo. It's the trophoblast. I'm probably not saying that right. Tika girl, you had 3 PGS tested embryos, and what happened? I have to do it, and I'm still feeling all uneasy. Don't they rule out the best ones? One was mosaic, 2 were abnormal. Okay. Are you considering transferring the mosaic? All the chromosomes can be there, but could be missing parts called the deletions. Yes, that is true. They can be missing. Yeah. I think I printed out some pictures. I was busy today. Let's see if I can find what like the samples are. Well, here's just this one. It's just the 3, normal, abnormal, and mosaic. I'll try to find the other ones, and hopefully that doesn't get washed out. Yeah, we can see that there. Can you guys see that normally? So here is what a normal one was. Here's an abnormal. Mosaic is when you have a mix of both. But I want to show you the picture with the chromosomes of what Tanika TTC is talking about. I think I have it. Yeah, here we go. Let me just, here's some normal and here's some abnormal. I don't know if there's a deletion. I think there's one more slide. But so you see here 1, 2, 3. Well, let's go here. What they're giving you 10. You would have 2. On the abnormal, there are 3 chromosomes there. So that is a chromosomal abnormality. It's not normal, right? I think that's the only one there. So does that make sense? Does everybody? Hey, Deidre. Tika saying, I strongly feel I wanted to give them all a chance, so I transferred all 3, though Dr. Zhang had recommended me transferring only the mosaic. Sadly ended up in a miscarriage. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, you did go to Dr. Zhang, though. Oh, I want to talk to you, girl. Hey, Tanya, how are you? Welcome. Here's another chart on percentages. I'll just show this really quick. So this is embryos screened as abnormal, and then cases with at least 1 abnormal embryo. So this one is a little complicated. Let me just talk it through. They go through egg donors here. If you're under 35 here, if you're 35 to 37, 38 to 40, 41 to 42, and if you're like me, over 42. I'm way over 42. But so embryos screened identified as abnormal. So the lowest amount of women who were tested that had embryo screened as abnormal is the 35.9%, and those are the donor eggs. This is what all the doctors are always, you know, they'll pull out something similar to this and say, look, if you use a donor egg. Cases with at least 1 normal embryo. So again, the donor egg has the highest percentage of cases with at least 1 normal embryo. It doesn't give us a range of how many eggs they will retrieve, but I think we know anecdotally, the further down we get on this chart, the older we are, the less eggs we're going to have at retrieval. Embryos identified as abnormal. So over 42, it's 84% of them. However, there are some that had normal. So 33.6% of women over 32 had normal embryo. So it's not impossible. It's just a lower chance. So it depends on your wherewithal, really. How much money do you have? How much time do you have to invest in that? Because it's going to take a while to find the golden egg. I did not find the deletion, but let me keep going because I want to go back to the sort of the elimination process. So you have the grading of the embryos, which will tell you which ones have, you know, sort of the better chance. And then you also have the testing, which basically is a process of elimination. So say you only can afford IVF once or twice, and you have these 30 eggs, and you want your best shot at success. You're going to use both the grading and the testing, right, to determine, or the PGS, the PreGenetic screening, to determine which one of those gives you the best opportunity, the most bang for your buck. There is not a guarantee. And like I said, they're not taking a sample from the actual embryo. They're taking a sample from the trophoblast, which is the outside of the blastocyst, which is going to be the placenta. So there are problems there because it's not 100% accurate. All right, let me just make sure. Deidre. Oh, here we go. Over a few months and do PGD. So Pravina, are you doing PGS or PGD? Because typically PGD is if you or your partner has an actual genetic issue. For example, I am a carrier for sickle cell. So if I also had a partner who was a carrier for sickle cell, it would make sense for us to do PGD to eliminate, assuming we had enough eggs, right? I would say that, assuming we had enough embryos, but to kind of eliminate or reduce that risk of the baby having sickle cell. Just lost twins at fraternal 6.4 weeks, found out at 10 weeks. Oh, I'm so sorry, Pravina. Karyotypes on POC to find out if there was a chromosomal miscarriage. Well, it's good that they're going to do the karyotypes for you. So, hey, Elite Fitness. Who else do we have in here? If you guys haven't checked out Elite Fitness, Fit or Quit, definitely check out that channel. Cynthia's here. Hi. Hey, guys. So glad to be here. First live. Yay, Sarah. Welcome. I don't think, Mrs. Living in Hope, don't cry for these stats. I think it's a realistic view of where we are. Again, it's not 0. So we still have a chance. Tika Girl said, I'm not PGS testing anymore. I'm going forward with fresh 3-day transfers. Favorina, I didn't do PGS testing. Am 3 days post-transfer of a blastocyst. Awesome. No genetic issues, but reoccurring miscarriage. I only produced 2 eggs. We transferred both. Pravina, if you don't mind me asking, why don't they want to start with PGS? Why do they want to go right to PGD if there's no genetic issues? Hey, Tasha, how are you? So that is kind of I want to touch on what Tika girl's saying about how she wouldn't, because I've spoken to a lot of women who said that they had done PGS testing and would never do it again because the doctors were hesitant to transfer. Like I said, Dr. Halem had her mosaics transferred. She's only 48, so it had to be within the last 4 years because she's had 3 kids. She just had her last one last year, and she had her eggs retrieved at 44. So it was the first time it had ever been done. Before that, if you had an egg retrieval, fertilized, went through the whole process, grading was fine, tested, and they came back abnormal or mosaic, you were dead in the water. Meaning the clinic was not going to transfer any of those eggs and they will be discarded. I haven't seen the PGS paperwork. I believe you signed something saying that you understand these risks or that you agreed to have them discarded. Don't quote me on that. Someone who's had it, let me know. I don't know if that varies by clinic. I know in general, when you go through IVF, they have you sign something to say, what will you do with your embryos at the end? Not tested, just regular old embryos. Will you, or if they're tested and they're normal, will you donate or destroy? Which that always bothered me. So even though I was sad to have one, obviously I wish I would have had more than one egg and one embryo, I was sort of relieved that I then no longer had to make that decision. Just because I don't know what's the right answer. Like if I donate my embryo, am I gonna one day run into a little Tanika on the street and be like, oh my God. If I destroy it, am I gonna be able to live with that knowing there's so many people working so hard to have babies? So there is no right answer. It's a struggle. Pravina, oh, you've lost 4 so far. I'm so sorry. No live babies. Gonna keep trying. Just so expensive and 0 coverage. It is expensive, and I think that's why a lot of people lean toward the PGS in the beginning because it kind of helps them hedge their bets. Not only expensive financially, but emotionally, right? Like once you have, even if you haven't had a loss, once you've been trying for a long time, you get that BFP, and then it doesn't go through, and the doctors are going to say, well, it could be a chromosomal issue. And they're right. It could be, but it also could not be. And so you kind of have that over you about, should I have tested? Should I have not tested? I mean, for me, it didn't make sense to test because I had one. Like if they were going to say it was abnormal, I was just going to be like, toss it? No. So I felt like I knew there was a low chance of it sticking. And I just felt like if my baby's not going to make it, I want my baby to be with me and not make it and not in a Petri dish, if that makes sense. Or they're not in Petri dishes anymore, I imagine. But wherever it is that they don't make it, the little, yeah, it's a Petri dish, right? Okay. I didn't know there was a difference until now. Maybe the term was PGS. They don't grade embryos for InvoCell. Right, because they don't see them. They're, oh, did you do InvoCell? So I have, let me read the difference between PGS and PGD. I wrote all these things down. Okay. Here is this. This is from a Nevada IVF center. I want to say that because, again, it's marketing. So we have to read between the lines. So PGS and PGD are genetic tests done on embryos created through IVF. Both are available at this center. I'm not going to, yeah. These tests look for genetic or chromosomal abnormalities. So myth, PGS and PGD are the same thing. The truth is PGS looks for a normal number of chromosomes, while PGD goes deeper, searching for a specific genetic abnormality linked to a specific disease. Like when I was saying I have sickle cell and I have a partner that has sickle cell, they'll look exactly for that. And they know where it would lie on the chromosomes. So that's kind of that. There was another one because people, I know some ladies were like, I've met with a doctor and he said I don't need it and it's a ripoff. Yes and no. I mean, doctors are going to tell us what we want to hear to some extent. If you don't want to do it, or if you do want to do it, a doctor typically should advise you on what their feelings are about it. But ultimately it's your money and it's your decision. And if you feel, you know, you and the doctor had a strong disconnect, I would just look for a new doctor. Yeah, I would birth every, oh, thank you, Zizi. I just put them in. I was trying to stretch my hair. ZZ on deck is in the house. The testing is just so expensive, and the doctor doesn't want to transfer anything other than normal ones, and I don't feel it's fair to count the other ones out completely. And you're right, Shauna, because there have been studies, and that's what I'm saying in the description box. If you look at that second one, they're not always accurate. So I do, I came with the receipts, y'all, and I did link them in the description box. If you guys, I already linked them ahead, so you don't have to wait for me later. So this one is just done by a clinic. It is, I want to curve the NCBI, which I read a lot of their studies. And they worked with a lot of different clinics because they needed to look at their results. So when they did this study, they wanted to find out the validity or test the validity of the testing. Only 18.2% of the embryos were identically assessed at 2 different PGS laboratories. So where you get it tested can impact your results, right? So only 18.2 were both 2 different labs in agreement. On repeat analysis, 36.4% of them were chromosomally normal. 2 mosaic, which is normal and abnormal, and 45% were completely differed in reported aneuploids. So 45%, 45.5%, it's almost half. They had a different opinion. That's the same thing as saying they mixed up the sex, right? 45.5 time or 45.5% of the time, one clinic said it was a boy and the other one said it was a girl. It's the same thing, right? It's a chromosome that they misinterpreted. In intra-embryo analysis, 50% differed between biopsy sites. So where on the trophoblast they took the sample from, because they're taking cells from your embryo to test it. 8 transfers of previously reported aneuploid embryos resulted in 5 chromosomally normal pregnancies, 4 delivered and 1 ongoing. So not even mosaic. There are 8 transfers of what is deemed abnormal embryos. 4 were delivered and 1 has an ongoing pregnancy. Of the 8, 3 did not conceive, though 1 among them experienced a chemical pregnancy. So that's powerful stuff. I think that sort of just supports that PGS is a tool, one of many tools that we would use to decide. I think it applies more if you have an abundance of embryos, or if you are, I think for me, because I've had 2 miscarriages in the last 2 years, I have to heavily consider, is this the right step for me? I'm leaning toward it, but again, it depends on how many embryos I'm able to get. If I only get 1, I'm transferring it again. If I have, God willing, 10 by embryo banking and I have the opportunity to test them, that might make more sense. But you guys are saying there's also a financial hurdle. So I would have to wait till I get all 10, right? It doesn't make sense to send them off. Tanika TTC, I think you grouped yours together for testing, or you waited, or did you send them as they came? I can't remember now. Pravina would birth, thanks for. Absolutely, Pravina. Listening to a post that said PGS tests the outside layer that turns into a placenta anyway and can later correct itself. Yes, that's what I'm saying, Tasha. So it's the outside, that's the trophoblast. It's not what the embryo is. They're pulling cells from the outside, and it could be wrong. It could be wrong. That's what I'm saying. 45.5 or 45.5% trophoblast. Let's see if I can get this up. Trophoblast. I'm like, I can feel myself gumming like an old lady over here. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find a good image for you guys. Okay, I think this is it. Now let's see if I can figure out this Google Hangout. Screen share. Okay, can you guys see that? Uh-oh. Why is it doing that? It's, oh my God, I don't know what just happened here. You are screen sharing. But it keeps rolling my picture over there. That's not what I want. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this. Here is a blastocyst. This is obviously inside of someone because we see the endometrium here. The inner cell mass is the embryoblast. This outside is the trophoblast. And in here is the blastocyst cavity. This part, this trophoblast all the way around, will become the placenta. This is where they remove the cells from to do the PGS testing. Does that make sense? Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. Hey, Red Blonde Chick. The actual testing is not that expensive. It's the biopsy that is the major hurdle. Had 2 IVF retrievals. Biopsy was $2,500 each time. The testing, oh, because they have to use the cells to do. I gotcha. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you, Tanika TTC. Sent per cycle, had 3 each time. Oh, thank you, Pravina. Shauna. And you're newly implanted. Oh, wait, I missed it. Fabrina, you got a new implant? But I refuse. I'm glad I did. I have 6 embryos at Blastocyst. Oh, you just transferred a few days ago. Yay! I missed that. Congratulations. Sending you lots of baby dust. Hope you're keeping your feet warm and eating lots of pineapple. Wouldn't that affect implantation? Potentially it could. So to be fair, not all of the embryos that are biopsied make it. So there also is a risk of losing your embryo, either from the testing, or not from the testing, but from the biopsy, to Tanika TTC's point. The freezing and thawing, those are all points of failures that could happen. I'm thirsty, guys. Sorry that I'm drinking. I don't have anything to offer you. Really? Additional $5,000, Mrs. Living in Hope? Is that for, like, can you do 10 or what's that? Let's see. I didn't do the PG. Hi, Diana. 1, our clinic charges $5,000 to do it. And 2, I personally want to give every embryo a chance. That is my feeling about it too. And I figure, you know, there has to be some divinity in it, right? We got to let God do what God's going to do. And I think, you know, if I were in a situation where I had 30 embryos, that would be a different conversation that we were having right now. I'm not ever going to be in that situation, seeing how I have an antral follicle count of 7. So I think it just depends on tolerance. But my point is, there isn't a hard and fast rule of who should and who shouldn't do it. I think as long as we have the information to make an informed decision, you guys know I'm all about an informed decision, then we feel comfortable about what we've done and how we've spent our money. If you only have the money for 1 IVF and the PGS testing gives you the insurance mentally, emotionally to feel like you're putting the best embryo back, then that makes sense. If it's an extra $5,000 versus an extra $20,000 to do another round of IVF, if you don't end up with the desired results. That not every chromosomal abnormality results in a miscarriage. Exactly. We finally got our BFP yesterday after 5 years of infertility. We finally got pregnant using donor eggs. Congratulations, Diana. So how long ago was your transfer? You got your BFP yesterday? Is that your, did you do your beta or are you testing at home? That's awesome. Would most of you say no to PGS? Please help me choose what to do next. Pravina. I love what you said about divinity, and it's so real. Oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, God has the last word. So, ladies, Pravina is asking, and this is a family meeting. What are your thoughts? What would you do on PGS or not PGS? She's asking for help. How much is using donor eggs? Oh, Jan, I think I assuming you're asking Diana, but I think it depends on where you are as well and what kind of coverage you have. Pravina, I've done it twice and would do it again, provided I have more than 2 blastocysts. There you go. So thank you, Tanika TTC. Pravina, you're getting answers in the comments. So hopefully you're reading them. Amen, amen. So I will look at this because there were some other, while you guys help Pravina, no PGS, just transfer. Yeah, so you've been on both sides of it, right? And we'll see. Like I said, it will depend on, it's too soon for me to say either way. If I get 2 or 3, if one makes it to blastocyst and the other 2 don't, that might be the deciding factor. We'll see. Because that's the other thing. I did a 3-day transfer last time. In order to do the testing, I'd have to grow them, and I'm claiming it that it's a them. I'd have to grow them out to blastocyst, have them biopsied, tested, and frozen. So it just, I don't know. It scares me to have the babies away from me that long. I don't know. ZZ, if you have less embryos, maybe PGS. Yeah. And Tasha saying, I think I would skip PGS if I was older than 35 with more than 5 blastocysts. I would test. I think I would too, Callie. If I was, I mean, I am older than 35. I think if I had more than 5, I would test because I know I only can transfer 1. And I would just pray that they came back with at least 1 that's normal or 1 that's mosaic. Yeah, and I say that as a woman who's been through 2 miscarriages, understanding that it could be a 3rd. I just, I want to give them a chance. I want to give the babies a chance. Favorina is saying she advises you choose multiple cycle IVF option that gives you a better chance of success. Having done PGS, I don't think I would do it again. What, Tika Girl, if you don't mind me asking, what led you to do it in the first place? And then what had you change your mind? Just for the ladies who have joined. I mean, I know why you're saying you wouldn't do it again, but I don't know what led you to it the first time. And that might be helpful to some of the ladies who are trying to decide. Hi, Cynthia. What can you do to lower your FSH? Oh, that's a whole other topic. I'm going to do a video on it, Cynthia, but you can email me, Tanika@simplytanika.com. It's not a simple answer, and I would need to know a little bit about where your FSH is, how many times has it been tested, what does your LH look like, because there's a relationship there. So there's a lot of things that kind of go into lowering your FSH. Pravina, my miscarriages don't end naturally, always surgery, DNC, it hurts and I bleed forever. I'm week 3 of bleeding since losing the twins. Oh my God, Pravina, I am so sorry. Yeah, I didn't have a DNC in either of them. The first one I did medication, which it tears me up because I'm obviously, you guys know I'm looking at a new RE. So I've been going through my medical records and sending it over to the new RE. And it says in there elective abortion because of the medication, but it was like pregnancy wasn't viable. The HCG, it dropped. And so the second one, I didn't want any medication and not even having seen that report yet, but I was just like, I'm going to let it be what it's going to be without my intervention. But I didn't do a DNC in either case. But I heard those can be painful. And it sounds like I'm not even sure why is there excessive bleeding. Is it because they scraped the endometrium? Is it hemorrhaging? Like that just seems like a long time. 3 weeks. I'm sorry, honey. If PGS testing embryo fails me, then I won't do PGS again. Can someone shed some light on my question? I just found your channel today. Hi, Wendy. I don't know if I saw your question, Wendy Curley. Do you mind repeating it? Or if someone saw it, can you... Yeah. Journey to Baby Bunce said, science is so cool. It really is. try looking into progeny. My new company covers all expenses. I only pay minimal 10%. Some companies have progeny. Well, that's good info. Hopefully you guys are reading the comments. I can't see them all. I'm trying to go back because I feel like I missed Wendy's, but I don't know what it was. Jan Joy, I froze my eggs years ago, 16 as you know, and now I want to use them, but don't know if I should go to RMA New Jersey or share or CNY, and opinions on success rates. I would look at the website that, what is it? Help me out, ladies. The one that has all the statistics for success rates. Is it ASMR assisted? Hang on. I would look there and then ask the ladies that you're asking. I don't have any experience with any of those as far from a transfer perspective, so I don't want to chime in. But let me just see if I can find this. I think it's ASMR. Or is that the noise, the YouTube video? Oh my God. It is. What is it called? IVF rates and success. There's a website that is not ASMR. SART. If you go onto the SART.org, it will give you the statistics. It's a year in arrears, so it's probably, actually it's like a year and a half. What are we in, 19? So they probably are just publishing 17, but they can give you the reported statistics for each of the clinics. I don't know anyone who went to share so far for IVF. I know someone who did IUI and they were successful like on their second or third time. I don't know. Oh, there's some ladies that might be on here who went to CNY for transfer. I know Lily G did, but she also did her retrieval there. Like it wasn't, and I'm sorry, Jan Joy. So you're saying you froze your eggs. Are they embryos or are they eggs? They're not fertilized? And is it 16 eggs or 16 years ago? PGS tested embryos fail. A lot of people don't know it's possible. That is very true. There are people who have had their embryos PGS tested and still did not implant. So that's a good point, Zizi. PGS testing is not a guarantee that your baby will implant and you will have a full-term pregnancy. It is meant to reduce the risk of a miscarriage. So you could go through PGS and it's still not implant. You could go through PGS and there still have a miscarriage. So that's always a risk. It's not 100%. So that's a good point. It's not a guarantee. It is a way to hedge your bets. It cost us almost $20,000 total at our Seattle clinic for our donor cycle. We live in Alaska. Oh, so you had to travel there. I know every clinic is different on cost. It was well worth it for us. Why did you go to Seattle, Jan? Was that, oh wait, that's not Jan, sorry. Okay, sorry guys. Diana, why did you go to Seattle? You're talking to Jan Joy instead of doing it in Alaska. And is that where your donor was from? I'm very curious about this. I have so many questions about donor cycles. Yeah, the abortion on the paperwork. And they say like elective abortion, spontaneous abortion. It just is like means you didn't get your baby, but it was unsettling to read that on the paperwork. I just wasn't prepared for it. Wendy, has anyone else ever had FSH in the 80s and the ultrasound does not reflect what is implied by FSH with all other hormones? Okay. Were you able to lower the FSH? I did not have FSH in the 80s. I did have it in the 50s. I was able to lower it. I don't know what you mean by the ultrasound does not reflect what is implied by FSH. FSH is your follicle stimulating hormone. So it being high means that your body's working really hard to call follicles for that cycle. I don't know what you mean by it's not reflected on the ultrasound. Tika girl, I did PGS because it was basically sold to me as a good tool. At the time, I thought, oh, okay, sounds great. But after reading about so much disparity and also watching videos from CHR, I regretted it. I'm sorry. It is hard because the clinics are in the business. Well, they're in business, period, right? And so they, as in any business, they're going to upsell you. They're going to tell you the benefits. It's a service they offer. So I think that's why it's good that you've done research since then. And other ladies are doing research and we are all sharing information of have we done it, haven't we done it? And that just helps us make informed decisions. I'm sorry that you regret it. Hopefully you feel more informed now and are confident with like the steps that you're taking next. For Tanika TTC, my first PGS tested embryo failed, but it led me to doing additional testing and finding other things wrong with me, like too low vitamin D, MTHFR mutation, low progesterone, etc. Oh, that's awesome. So in retrospect, Tanika TTC, would you have done that before the first transfer? And did you initiate that, or did your RE say, now that this did not work, let's test for that? There are many reasons that a transfer can fail. PGS helps to rule out the chromosomal assumption when you are older. I just turned 39, by the way. Yes, you did. Happy birthday. Thank you, Tanika TTC. SART. Yes. I don't know why everybody saying SART. I'm like over here Googling it. Thank you, ladies. We also had to pay for everything out of pocket. My insurance doesn't cover any infertility. So, oh, God bless you, Diana. I'm so glad it worked out. Was this your first transfer? Zizi, I hope you keep this live posted so I can read the comments. Good stuff. Yes, it will definitely be posted. Tika says, I also feel like I want to give them all a chance because you truly don't know about the embryo's potential to self-correct and develop normally. Right. I've read so much about them self-correcting. That's a very, very good point. Shauna, I'm over 40, second cycle. My RE heavily suggests to do the PGS due to age and quality of eggs and to help zero in on the ones that will give the best chance of success. So Shauna, if you get 2 eggs or 2 embryos, is your RE still suggesting that? Do they have some sort of threshold? Or they're saying if you just get 1, they want to do PGS testing. ZZ, you're 37. Are you, girl? You look good. Eggs. Okay, I froze only eggs, not fertilized yet. Okay. So, yeah, Jen, do you have the sperm to freeze? I mean, to fertilize them? Because you've got to go through the fertilization process before you can go through transfer. So you've got to thaw, fertilize, and they've got to grow. So I would look at, when you're looking at SART, who has success rates with that as well, because there are different success rates in different labs. And the freezing technology, or freezing, the cryogenic preservation technology has changed over the last 16 years. So you definitely want someone who has experience with the prior cryopreservation technology and can thaw them properly, right? So that you don't lose any or lose as few as possible during the thawing process. Favorina, no, that's so true. PGS testing is not a guarantee for success. And they say, this is ZZ, they say sometimes the abnormal PGS tested ones still are good because they only biopsy. Exactly, they're biopsying what will become the placenta. I find that doctors don't always give you all the info so that your choice is fully informed, and that bothers me so much. It's very true, Journey to Baby Bunce. They don't always give you, it's slanted, and sometimes it depends on what they feel you are understanding. So I think, I hate to be on my soapbox. We have to advocate for ourselves. We have to be informed. We have to share information. We have to do research. It is a better conversation to go in there and say, I saw this on Dr. Google. I saw these 2 conflicting things, and here's what my opinion is, doc. Tell me what yours is, than to go in there with no information at all and just listen. Because if you're hearing it all for the first time, you're still processing everything they said, right? You're not able to join in the conversation. So do your research, advocate for yourself. It's your money, your body, your life, ultimately, because it is life impacting whether or not we get these babies. Hey, no, no, is it Noemi? Noemi or Naomi? Noemi. I had a boss named Noemi. I'm gonna go with that. Wendy Curley, ultrasound of my ovaries look normal. I'm producing. I did have emergency gallbladder surgery in February. I'm wondering if that has effect on FSH. That one you would have to research. And Wendy, I want to be respectful of your desire to have this, but this chat tonight, it was named PreGenetic screening, hope or hype. So I want to be respectful of the ladies who kind of looked at the links and prepared to have this conversation. If you want to email me, I'm happy to talk about your FSH. We'd have to go into more specifics about you. And some other things, but you can email me, tanika@simplytanika.com. Alaska does not have IVF clinics here. We have a couple of infertility doctors clinics. My doctor here works with, oh, okay. So that's why we went there. Oh, awesome. From a donor bank. That's so cool. Tanika TTC. Oh, you initiated the additional testing with the RE. He couldn't explain why it failed except to give me a scholarly article that explained you basically have to transfer an average of 4. Oh my goodness. Wow. Regardless of age. The article also found that PGS testing was only helpful to the over 40 age group. That's interesting. Well, listen, your baby is on board now. So kudos to you for doing your research and coming back to your doctor with what the plan was. And I think that is a perfect example of how we can advocate for ourselves, because it sounds like left in his hands, you would have needed 2 more embryos before he was even trying to find another solution. So good for you and baby G. Diana, this is my first transfer with the donor eggs. We did 1 cycle in November with my own eggs. I only got 1 egg retrieved and it didn't work. It didn't get to a blastocyst, but still have it a shot. Oh, so I did mine in November as well, Diana, and I had 1 that unfortunately miscarried, but wow. Okay. So do you have any eggs or any embryos left from your donor cycle? Christina, why should IVF be an option? I can get pregnant, just can't stay. Doctors no help. So getting pregnant and not staying pregnant, that's another thing. If the doctors can't help, they're going to say it might be a chromosomal abnormality. Like, how old are you? What is your diet like? Have you ever carried to full term? Have you done genetic testing with you and your partner? It might be a PGD issue. Like, you guys could have a chromosome recessive for both of you that then doesn't allow you to have a viable pregnancy. They need to do some testing. There are also reproductive immunologists who can help you. There's one in New York, Dr. Braverman, who can go into, like, your body might just be rejecting it. There could be a genetic issue. You are going to need a specialist, like someone who's really committed to helping you solve the problem, and also doing your own research. Do you have a thyroid issue? Is there prolactin? Is there anything else? Like, are you at optimal health, Christina? You're going to, unfortunately or fortunately, have to advocate for yourself and come up with, I've done this research, this research, this research here. Where are we starting? Put it back on the doctors. Yes, and I hope my 1 embryo survives thawing this month. It will, ZZ. Oh, are you doing your transfer this month? And Christina said, when should IVF be an option? So I don't know. I mean, if you're already getting pregnant, I would say, and you go through the testing first, because the doctors are going to say, well, it's probably a chromosomal abnormality, and they don't know, right? There could be other things, because truth is you could get one that's perfect PGS tested and it's still not stick. So make sure everything is okay with you. And then a doctor will probably, you know, genetics and everything else is checked out, would say you will increase your odds by having IVF and having your embryos tested and having like the highest grade and they come back normal. That's what they're going to say to you. There's some other tests that need to be done though, because that's kind of like the textbook answer. And I know, like, I'm always talking about my IVF unicorn, Dr. Halem. She had either 7 or 9 miscarriages before the age of 44, then did another egg retrieval at 44. All of the embryos came back abnormal. She's had her 3rd baby last year, and I saw her a week and a half ago, and she's thinking about having another one. Because I was like, how are the babies? And she was like, the 3rd one. I was like, the last one. She was like, I'm not ready to say last because I don't know if I'm done. So, and she's my age, so she's my unicorn. Journey to baby bunts. That is definitely true. I became a doula to help women make empowered, informed choices and advocate for themselves as well. I'm a huge advocate of self-advocacy. Me too. I mean, listen, we know our bodies. We know what's going on. Let's partner together. I think we have to not be afraid of the people in the white coats. Didn't have a partner at the time of egg retrieval, freezing at 36, and now I found Mr. Man. All right, at age 42, so I guess, so I need to do this right. No luxury to wait around. Yeah, so I would have Mr. Man tested, make sure his swimmers are all good, and there are no issues. That way they can determine if they want to do ICSI or not, right? There's an additional cost for ICSI. I did ICSI. There was a morphology issue. And yeah, I'm so glad that you found Mr. Man. Congratulations. And how smart of you to freeze him at 36. Girl, I wish I had frozen mine. I didn't know. I was going to get baby fever later. Hey, Shauna, no worries. So-called diminished ovarian reserve. That's funny. That's what my doctor said too. He was like, this so-called. However, during first cycle, retrieved 9 eggs, 3 made it to blast. However, quality was not the best. That's awesome that you got 9. Quality was not the best. What did you do after that? Like, meaning they weren't the top graded? Pravini, what about natural killer cells if the POC results show I'm sorry, I don't know what POC is. Like, I work in technology, so it means proof of concept to me. But I'm sure that's not what you mean. POC results show normal babies, my body would be attacking the babies. Any information on curing NK cells and if it has effect on PGS testing. So it's not going to have it because you have the cells. You need to work with a reproductive immunologist and they will help you with the killer cells. Keith, you may want to consult Christina Keith with a reproductive endocrinologist. Yeah, I would say a reproductive endocrinologist and a reproductive immunologist for Christina. It sounds like there's some testing that needs to happen. Tanika TTC, Callie is asking for the link to the article, the scholarly article that your RE gave you. My first cycle used a different RE. This is Shauna, kind of sketchy as I look back on things now with Columbia. Oh, you're with Columbia? I love Dr. McConnell. Do you have Dr. McConnell, Shauna? Just wish didn't have to make the PGS decision. It's so hard. It is a hard decision. It is. Hey, Deidre, we talked about IVF, and if I have to do it, we decided no to do PGS or any kind of genetic testing. If I'm ever lucky to become pregnant, we will take what God gives us because the cost is expensive. Yes, Deidre. And that, you know what? I want to touch on that when you say you are going to take what God gives you, because I believe that as well. And I get concerned. I know there is a woman, I'm assuming, or a man, I don't know, running around on the boards, or are they called boards? On the comments here on YouTube. She had asked me, and I deleted it, and I think she'd asked Pumpkin 5160, what about, are you okay with having a Down syndrome baby? The answer for me is yes. If that is what God sends me, yes. I am not going to play God. I'm not going to second guess it, second guess him, second guess the decision. And so I am not judging anyone who looks at it and says this, child has trisomy 13, I think it is. And I don't want to bring it into the world. It's not for me to judge. However, if it is my child, I am bringing it into the world. And someone said that in the context of donor eggs, like, wouldn't I rather do donor eggs and eliminate the risk? And for me, those questions don't go together for me. So, yeah, I just want to say that to your point, Deidre. Whatever, I'm ready to be a parent, and I'm going to trust his infinite wisdom. 2 miscarriages in 6 months. Oh, I'm sorry, Christina. Diana, yep, I know, Tanika, I was watching your progress because you were doing your cycle same time as me. Yes, we put 2, okay, expanded blastocysts on this transfer and got to freeze 2 more embryos. Oh, that's awesome. Ooh, and they were expanded blastocysts too. Those are good. Yes, I'm already in my frozen transfer. My transfer should be in about 2 weeks. Awesome. I hope you're going to do videos on frozen transfers. I'm curious about, yeah, I hope you're going to cover it on your channel. Chat won't let me post it. I'll put it in the comments of the live. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you send it to me, I will, or if you put it in there, then I'll also put it in the description box, Tanika TTC, or I'll pin it. I'll make sure everybody can see it. Christina Keith, I had 5 miscarriages in the past 4 years. You did, ZZ? I didn't know that. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. The real question is, am I strong enough to go through several more miscarriages before I find the golden egg? Wow, your friend is my hero too. Oh, Pravina. You can look her up. Dr. Halem, IVF, mosaic transfer. Yeah, it's, and she told me the way she made it through is she had to get dogs while she was waiting before she went to Dr. Braverman. because she needed to mother something. So yeah. And Pravina, I know what you mean, like how many miscarriages, but I do feel, again, like if I get 1 or 2 and it's not going to make it, I'd rather my child be with me and not make it. I just feel like I have that responsibility to that child instead of just leaving it there. Oh, somebody sent me money. Thank you. $19.99. What am I selling? I don't even know how that works. Oh, thank you, Pravina. I've never gotten anything in the super chat. That's cool. Nice. Okay. Products of conception. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. POC. I think they put on mine either products of pregnancy or contents of pregnancy, which I just was like, yeah. Okay. I gotcha. 5 and 4 years, your strength, seriously. Wow. Diana says, I knew my eggs wouldn't work, but wanted to try at least once. I'm 36 and have endometriosis. Oh, I'm sorry. I also have diminished ovarian reserve because of the endo. Wow. So did they have to treat the endo before transfer? Did you have like any surgeries or? Okay. It is a difficult decision. It's really not about the cost of PGS testing, in my opinion. I feel the PGS testing is like testing God. God chooses what child he wants to bless us with. Just hope for the best. I have a cousin, this is Jessica Jones, that had testing for diabetes on her embryos, but the healthy one, in which is now a newborn, and he still has diabetes. So God does have the last word. Yes, he does. And Harlem is being nosy. They're trying to get a word in. She was booked at the time. I'm with Dr. Brady. Love her. Oh, awesome. She's very informative, straightforward, and gentle all at the same time. I love the clinic. I love the practice. I just wanted someone who could deal with my advanced maternal age. But it was always well run. I love the ladies at the front desk. I love that they get you in and out. Informative. Just the only thing though, now that I'm learning, is the new clinic has a portal. I wish that I had a portal at Columbia. Like I could see when I had testing and find it, but it wasn't, they weren't communicating with me via a portal. There was like the encrypted emails. That would be my only thing for Columbia, because people would be like, just look in your portal. And I was like, what are they talking about? Now I know. But I mean, that's, of all the things, it's the tiniest thing, I swear. I loved talking to everybody, and they were always like, when your RE calls you back on Saturday, you know you have a good RE. Genetic testing for babies because I'm not God, and obviously the universe gave me this baby for a reason and because I'm strong enough for that child. Yeah. There's a study about ovaries being able to generate new egg follicles from stem cell tissues that reside in our ovaries. I have to find the link to the study and post it so we can get ERAs. ERAs. There is, Deidre, you, what is that one you told me about? Something about infusion. I don't know if it's stem cells. It's some sort of, you know who has it? New Hope has it. Someone else sent me an email about this the other day. Hang on, let me just, for those of you who came late, my other monitor's over here so that I could pull stuff up as we talked. Last time I was trying to do it on the iPad and it was driving me crazy. So they have ovarian rejuvenation. So they are, I'll just put it up over here again. We can look at it together. Okay. Can you guys see that? Here we go. Let me make it bigger. So they're saying women, even postmenopausal ones, always have eggs inside their ovaries, but a lot or all of these eggs are dormant. Ovarian rejuvenation is a newly pioneered procedure intended to reawake egg maturation and development within the ovary. Though many different processes are currently being tested, each procedure seeks to generate increased fertility with women who otherwise cannot conceive naturally. So they have this modified ovarian rejuvenation, the PRP, platelet-rich plasma injections, which, Deidre, I think that's the one you were telling me about. And then another technique is to inject patients' own fat stem cells directly into the ovaries. And then ozone rejuvenation therapy. Again, this is a fertility clinic, New Hope Fertility website. So they're selling something. So it's all to be taken with a grain of salt. I haven't done any cross research to see what the success rates are, if people are actually going on to have successful pregnancies afterward. That I don't know. This is just what the procedure is. So I just wanted to show that for people who haven't seen that. So that's, you know, out there on the market. It's about time and money, though. I wouldn't spend my coins on anything that there was not sufficient research, though, to say, yes, this is success. You can have donor eggs and they can still have Down syndrome or other abnormalities. That is true, Yessie. So there's a young lady, that's a very good point, too. There's a young lady who I talked to on Instagram who they did PGS testing on her donor embryos. And I think 2 of them came back normal, the other 2 did not. They were abnormal. So there is no guarantee. But I think on that other chart, they're telling you, right? Let me see if I can find it. There's no guarantees. It just increases your chances, right? So here's that one chart where it's saying, can you guys see that? Here's the donor eggs column here. And they're saying in the donor egg group, 35% of those eggs are coming back abnormal. That's the green. And then in the blue, 96% of the donor eggs were normal, 96.4. So there is that possibility. Of course, that is, of all of them, the most ideal, right? They have the lowest number of abnormal, highest number of group with at least one that is normal out of all these groups. Egg donor, under 35. I'm reading backwards. 35 to 37, 38 to 40, 41 to 42, and over 42. So yeah, but donor egg is not a guarantee. It just increases your odds, especially if you're not having any eggs or if all of the eggs that you've tested are not working. Obviously, time and money are 2 resources that are not unlimited. Let's talk about gender with PGS testing. Ooh, some people said it's testing God when you get to pick the gender, but what if you want to balance your family? So that's interesting, ZZ. So some clinics won't allow you to do gender selection unless you've already had at least 1 child and you want to round out and do the family balance. There are other instances where the men or the male are genetic carriers, and so you get to select it in that case. And I'm not thinking of any off the top of my head. If you ladies know who've had it, there are some where it is, if it's only carried by the male, you can pick girls so that you know that you don't have that risk, or you're going to end up picking girls because they don't have it. Or female, I should say, I guess. I'll look for it in a second. I'm getting behind on these. Let me see. Okay. All that money. Hey, Catsy, I didn't even see you come in. Good. Happy Friday. Good evening. After all, we'll look for a study and link it. We can generate a few new follicles. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing videos in my FET. I made a video today. We'll edit and post more. Awesome. Drum roll, please. How many of us were grade AA embryos? Girl, in search of me, Tiffany, and James, right? How many of us were grade A? How many of us had no abnormalities? I wouldn't have. I've already said that. I have a recessive gene for sickle cell. So that would have come up on a genetic test. I might not have gotten chosen. Luckily, my mom was 17 and it was 1971. So that was not an option. So I'm here. And I am grateful. Thank God nobody was looking at me, right, in a dish somewhere deciding on if I would make it or not. If the RE feels it's medically necessary to complete the cycle, then it would be included, but that is the healthcare insurance fight. We will never win, unfortunately. Uh-oh, I missed it. What did Cat C say? Marie, okay. Oh, Tanika TTC, you don't get to truly pick the gender. You only get to pick from the embryos you have tested. The embryologist picks the sperm and ICSI, or it naturally occurs. So that part is random. But I've seen people pick boys or girls like after they've had them all tested. And I know I read that some of them, Dr. Brady is at Columbia. Some of them are, and really it was only, I saw, and I can't find it now, males are certain carriers for certain issues. And so they were saying they would allow you to pick a female. Obviously this assumes you have a lot of eggs or embryos, and it becomes, you have that option. I printed out so many things. I don't know. Oh, you know what? These are over here. Bear with me 1 second, ladies. I'm just trying to find this about when the male embryo has an issue. Oh, here's the other one. This is what Tanika TTC was talking about, the deletion, duplication, or inversion. So it is to the point that she was making, it's not always that there is an extra one or a missing one. Within the chromosome itself, there's an error that will come out of testing. Can you guys see that? So that's the deletion, duplication, or it's inverted. So in some cases, a chromosomal rearrangement causes symptoms similar to the loss or gain of an entire chromosome. For instance, Down syndrome is usually caused by a third copy of chromosome 21, but can also occur when a large piece of chromosome 21 moves to another chromosome and it passes on to offspring along with regular chromosome 21. In other cases, rearrangements cause unique disorders, ones that are not associated with aneuploidy. But that does not get us our male factor losses. Yeah. I read about it earlier. Oh, wait, here we go. I think this is it. So human genetic disorders can also be caused by aneuploidies involving sex chromosomes. These aneuploidies are better tolerated than autosomal ones because human cells have the ability to shut down extra X chromosomes in a process called X activation. Oh, it's a whole other article we have to go into. Anyway, my point is some of the chromosomal issues are specific to the male embryos, and so they will let you not pick those for transfer. Oh yeah, Yessie was at Columbia too. And then one of my coworkers was at Columbia. She's pregnant now. She had her IVF the month before I did, so Columbia has been great. But if you have a boy and a girl normally tested embryo, my doc said we would pick which one to transfer. Yes, you can, ZZ. PRP, thank you. Oh my God, I'm so far behind. I had to have a laparoscopy surgery. Then we tried a couple IUIs afterwards to see if the surgery helped. I also had to have some polyps removed. Oh, yikes. Yeah, I had a polyp removed too. Oh my goodness. Okay. So you had a lot of surgeries. Oh, God bless you. I'm glad you got a sticky bean. If the RE feels it's medically necessary to complete the cycle, I read that one. Platelet-rich plasma, ovarian rejuvenation. Yes, thank you, Deidre. CHR New York, it's also done at the New Hope, which is in New York, which I showed on the screen. Ovis Science does it, but something happened and they no longer do it, or the study ended. Ovary rejuvenation, third parent mitochondria. So third parent mitochondria is no longer legal in the US. FDA ruled it in 2017 that it couldn't be done here. There is Dr. Zhang, who is at New Hope, who will do it in Mexico. Someone sent me an email today saying that he only will do it if there's a genetic issue, which is what the case was that he did it here. It was a Jewish couple, and they had, I can't remember what it was, but something related to them being Jewish, which is why I mention it. And they basically punched out mom's mitochondria, put in a donor egg mitochondria. I think the baby is like 2 or 3 now, and he's fine. It's a little boy. Okay, Tanika and Zizi are having a talk. I'll leave that to them. Diana says, I've read that low-dose IVF med cycles help with women that have diminished ovarian reserve. I have a good feeling about your next cycle. Thank you. Yeah, this doctor seems to think lower dose, longer days. He wants to add the HGH, which is a human growth hormone. I was reading yesterday, some doctors are adding HCG. Somebody who's going to CNY, and I don't remember off the top of my head, so I don't want to misquote it, but that also, there are studies that show that HCG given during stems also helps older women or diminished ovarian reserve women succeed, to have more embryo or more eggs and more fertilized eggs at the end of it. Okay. Oh, because you have 3 kids already. Yes. Oh, thank you, Zizi. Hey, Shell, TTC Bella. What's up, girl? A long time no see. I'm glad that you're stepping out now and again, though. We miss you. Yes, it's like a straw with a hole in it. Oh, the deletions, Pravina. I was like, oh, no. It's like a penny with a hole in it. That reminds me of an old song. Good point, Tanika. It is important to note that PGS testing does not detect balanced translocations, rearrangements within 46 chromosomes. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, to Chef, hey girl, with the subby who froze eggs at now, ready to retrieve them, connect with me, please. I have 16 eggs on ice done 7 years ago. Okay, so that is Jan Joy. Jan Joy, will you connect with Ode to Chef? Jan Joy, are you still here? So I think you guys both have 16 eggs, Ode to Chef. So, hey, Adrian's live, how are you? Love Jones, like a penny with a hole in it. They say I'm hopeless. Good looking out, Christina. Thank you. Okay, so I think we've been on over an hour. We go a long time. I think we've covered everything that I have researched on the testing, hope or hype. And I think the answer is it's going to depend on what your choices are. Oh, wait, there's one more thing before we go. There was one thing about age that I did want to read. I know we said it depends on what your appetite is for loss, or what your appetite is financially and emotionally. But so age, what they're saying is if you're trying to get pregnant after 35, possibly from well-meaning friends and family, I love this writer, that your biological clock is ticking loudly. As much as we hate to say it, though, Aunt Ruth actually has a point. Not only is it harder to get pregnant the older you are, but the risk for producing aneuploid embryos also increases with maternal age. This remains true regardless of how many embryos are produced. So your single embryo is just as much risky for aneuploidy as any embryo of yours would be in a cycle where you produced more than one. For women under 35, about half of embryos are euploid, normal. And this number decreases by about 10 percentage points every 2 years. So your age may be a factor in whether you want to do PGS or not. But remember, all women, even those below the 35-year-old mark, have a baseline risk of producing aneuploid embryos. So I feel like we get the push very hard from the REs anytime you're over 35, right? That magical advanced maternal age, that you should have it it will increase your odds. They're probably chromosomally abnormal. I mean, my first RE, God rest her soul. No, she's not dead, but I would like to kill her. Right away when I told her I had a miscarriage, this woman hadn't looked at an ovary of mine, a uterus of mine, hadn't touched me, and I said I had a miscarriage, and she was like very flip. It probably was chromosomally abnormal. It could have been, it could not have been. We don't know. And I think luckily at that time I was just starting to do research, and I always say I'm a woman with no regrets. I don't regret that she was my RE because it taught me to advocate for myself. And I always had that sense, but I really had to go in on that. And then, you know, it's one of the reasons I created the channel, is to connect with other women and share. But there's a better way to say that, and it's not always true. We didn't test it, so we don't know. Yes, it is true that at my age, at anybody's age over 35, it increases and it goes up incrementally, which is why they really stop after 42. Even no one ever mentions a 45-year-old in these studies, right? They cut it off at 42 or 42 and older is what they say. I've mixed up all my papers, which is unfortunate. However, I think don't let them scare you either. Like, don't let them scare you. Have your information, know what your odds are and what you're willing to tolerate. I'm looking for that other chart. Oh, this is, I don't know if you're still on, Janjoy, or this is another thing that we got. This is what PGD testing will tell you. If there's a genetic disorder that the mother or the father, like I kept saying about me having sickle cell. So over here, these chromosomes are unaffected. And I know I just skipped, but give me a minute because I just found this, guys. Over here, these chromosomes are unaffected. This one is a carrier. So that's what mine looks like for sickle cell because I'm a carrier for sickle cell. This is affected. So in order for me to have been affected, both my mother and my father would have had to have sickle cell anemia. So it's the same with anybody's children. If both of the parents are carriers, there is a chance that the child will be a carrier, and it gives you the scenarios. So in this, you can see this is the one that's affected. That's a 1 in 4 chance. So 1 in 4 embryos. There is a good YouTube Bun in the Oven. They have to do PGD testing. She and her husband both have, or it's actually, I believe it's her husband. I don't want to misspeak, but Bun in the Oven, if you go to her channel, they have to do PGD testing. So not everyone, if they're trying to sell you PGD testing and they haven't done testing on you and your husband, genetic testing, run, don't walk, because that doesn't make any sense. The first thing to do is see if you are a carrier for something. That would be the instance where you do PGD. And so I just want to be clear because I know sometimes people are using that interchangeably. They're not the same thing. And they're going to tell you different things. In some instances, like for me, we did genetic testing. There was no need to do PGD. So hopefully that was that. Anyway, so back to being older and on the decision of whether or not to do it. I think there are lots of options for us. There's a lot of information. It's a very personal question, as we've discussed in here. You have to decide what you want. A lot of us in this thread have said we would leave it up to God. Some ladies here who have had it now are having trouble with abnormal mosaic embryos being transferred back, doctors not wanting to do it, and feeling like they had to throw their children away. So it's a matter of what your heart will bear. And I don't say money because I know sometimes it's expensive, but I think at the end of the day, the money sorts itself out. Our heart we have to live with for the rest of our life, right? Money comes and goes. And so it's not an easy decision. It's not an easy question. It's not an easy answer. It doesn't guarantee. It can increase your odds. But then there's also the research, which I encourage you guys all, please, to look at that link in the description box. It is, like I said, NCBI did the research. It's not 100% accurate. Like, what did I say? 45.5% of the time, they were completely inaccurate. So for one example, because it's the easiest to visualize, we're determined whether we're male or female by our chromosome, right? As women, we have 2 X chromosomes. And boys have an X and a Y, which is why daddy always decides what the sex of the baby is. 45.5% of that, almost 50% of the time they got it wrong. They said it was going to be a girl and it was a boy. That's just one chromosome. So it's not foolproof. And it depends on the lab. So that's what they tested it against different labs. Some labs were more accurate than others. So if you are going to do it, there goes one of my silver bands. If you are going to do it, make sure you research the lab and what their results are and what their accuracy is. Look at their ratings. If your clinic only goes to one lab, I would do a little research on that. Like, are they getting some kind of kickback? It doesn't mean they are. I would just do a little research. Like, do you have the option to go to another lab? Are they forcing you to go to that lab? Is that the only lab they work with? If so, why? Just ask a lot of questions. There are no stupid questions. This is your future. This is your life. These are your future babies. And so ask all the questions, do all the research. You can come on here. There are always, as you can see, lots of ladies, very informed, lots of experience. So collectively, you know, we have a lot of answers. One of us doesn't have to know everything. A lot of us know a lot of things. And together that makes us powerful. So hopefully that helped. All right, ladies, is there any burning question? Because it's 9:51. I'm going to try to wrap it up in 9 minutes because, God, I'm long-winded tonight. One of my kids carries it too. I have to do oral infusions to keep my iron up. Pills don't work. Yeah. Oh, someone else's text or I'm in contact with on Instagram she actually has full-blown sickle cell. I don't know what I will do without your support, love, and prayers. We will get our babies. Yes, Mrs. Living in Hope. Oh. Mrs. Living in Hope and Deidre are like my OGs. I love you ladies. I mean, I love all of you guys, but those two have a special place in my heart. Shauna, yes, those REs will teach you a lesson. And it is a valuable lesson. I'm not mad. I'm better for it. Adrienne's live. Oh yeah, if you guys have not checked out Adrienne's live, check her out. She is on her IVF journey. Adrienne, how did your surgery go? That was the last video I saw. I think that was the last one I saw. I might have watched one last night. But how are things going with you, ladies? And also, ZZ on Deck has a channel. Tanika TTC has a channel. Mrs. Living in Hope. Let's all support each other before we get out of here. If you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. I will leave this up live. I like it when you guys join because honestly, even me, no matter how much I love somebody, when I see they have like an hour and a half live, I very rarely watch the whole thing. I am trying to set them up where we cover the material like in the first. Well, we say hi first because we're civil people, but we covered at the beginning of the live discussion. So if someone wants to ever come back and see like the first 20 minutes, it'll make sense. But I appreciate it when you guys join live. It makes it that much more lively. All of your input and valuable information is more than I have. And so again, collectively, we are stronger. So I appreciate you guys. Your clinic works with 2 labs. Okay, so ZZ, I feel like I trust that. I better research the lab. Yeah. The PGS gender may be wrong. Yeah, 45.5% of in that study at least. We sure will, honey. And you, oh, thank you. You ladies are always in my prayers. What PGD would be for someone who has? Yes, it would be. If you guys both have it, are you a carrier or is it, or do you have it, I guess? Sharing your knowledge, journey and time with us. Oh, thanks, JG. Make this test my testimony. I know that's right. This is our testimony, right? We've been tested so we can testify. Yesy. Oh, let's get those babies, ladies. That's right. Everyone hit the like button. Yes, everybody give me a thumbs up. Let's everybody connect. Who else is on here? Shell TTC Bella. I don't know if she's still on here. She's got a channel. ZZ on Deck. Mrs. Living in Hope. Tanika TTC. She just got her BFP. She's 9 weeks from her IVF transfer, her second IVF transfer. She did do PGS testing. So she has all of that content up on her channel if you want to see what that process is like or what's going on. ZZ is about to do her frozen embryo transfer. She's prepping for that, posting a video sometime soon. She just recorded today. Did Jan, is it Jan, Jane, and Ota Chef get to connect. If not, if you guys want to email me and I'll put you in touch. Jan, if you connect me, because I have Ota Chef's email. So if you want to email me, Tanika at simplytanika.com, I can put you guys in touch. She has 16 embryos on ice and she wants to talk to you. Or no, 16 eggs, sorry. 16 eggs on ice, like you have 16 on ice and she wants to talk to you about it. Journey to baby bunts. My dad was a carrier because he's part African Canadian and indigenous. Okay. It wouldn't hurt to do the testing, to do genetic testing for you, genetic testing for hubby. Once you have them together, they'll have you talk to a genetic counselor and they will tell you what the likelihood is and like what your prognosis is. So if you guys get them done at the same time, at the same place, they don't have to be at the same time. You need to have the reports together. But normally, like if you're going through a fertility center, they'll have a genetic counselor there. We did ours at the center, had the testing done. And actually, I had my testing done at the first RE. And then when we got to Columbia, he had his testing done. And I already knew I was a carrier for sickle cell from when I had my daughter. So, and he didn't have anything. Oh, thank you, Cynthia. Tasha, I look forward to these live chats. Thanks so much. Have a good night. Good night, Tasha. Thank you for joining us. Factor V due to recurrent miscarriage. Okay. So it's a recurrent miscarriage. So what can they do for you? Does it not impact the baby? I don't know, Factor V. I'm sorry. Let me just open this up over here and go. What is Factor V? I'm assuming it's chromosomal. A mutation of one of the clotting factors in the blood. This mutation can increase your chance of developing abnormal blood clots. Are you working with a reproductive endocrinologist? I would work with a doctor and see what they reference. There's also something on the National Health. It is inherited. It's an inherited disorder of blood clotting. Factor V Leiden is the name of a specific gene mutation that results in thrombophilia, which is an increased tendency to form abnormal blood clots that can block blood vessels. Wow. So do you take blood thinners? And is that connected to your miscarriages? I would talk to an RE, get their opinion. If you already know you have that, does your husband also carry it? What's the likelihood of you transferring it on to a child? And then obviously if it's impacting your ability, to carry to full term, you want to talk to somebody about that. It's a clotting disorder. Thank you. I'm slow. I like Google. I have to be on heparin. Okay, during pregnancy to prevent it. All right, that makes sense. Not yet because I'm waiting for a referral. Okay, where are you? Are you in the States? Are you at least they're getting you the referral. So that it sounds like you're headed in the right direction. And I think it's always better to have a diagnosis. I know sometimes we feel like, oh, why did I get this diagnosis? Or, my odds are now decreased, but you know what it is. So you are prepared. You are prepared to go in and tackle it. So you're in Canada. Okay. So keep me posted on how that goes. I'm wishing you well. Like I said, at least you know what you're up against and you can formulate a plan. No insurance really covers IVF and fertility treatment in my province. Oh my God. Yikes. That is crazy. None of them joined tonight. We have a few Canadian ladies. Chloe, there's one, now I'm drawing a blank. Oh my God. She has a channel. Lindsay, Jillian, Lindsay, one of those. She's also in Canada. Give me 1 second. I just want to, you might find her channel useful. So I just want to let you know what it is. That is not it. Okay. Sorry, monitor's over here. Lindsay Jillian. She's also in Canada. So I would recommend her following her as well. Looks like her last post was a week ago, so she's still current. Because she talks about it, but I don't remember it because it didn't apply to me. But she does talk about financing. She also talks about like the clinic having mental health professionals, which is awesome and amazing to deal with like anxiety and different things. So I would just check her channel out. It's Lindsay is her first name, Lindsay, and then Jillian, Jillian, is her channel. So hopefully that helps. Some provinces do allow 2 tries. Okay. All right, ladies, it is 10 o'clock. We've been on here for an hour and a half. I love you all. I appreciate you all. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. I don't know if we'll do it every Friday, but I do like our Friday night lives. We may do it once a month. We'll figure it out. I will, if I do go live on Friday, I'll post something in the afternoon. So make sure you have your notifications turned on. Well, first of all, make sure you're subscribed. Be in the fam. You're here. You're already in the fam. Make it official. Put a ring on it. And then hit the bell so that you'll be notified. I post it in the community tab, or I'll post the thumbnail for the video so you'll see when it's scheduled, or I'll do both. And then that way you know we're doing a Friday Night Live. Okay? And I'll put what the topic is. So I like when we stay on topic. I know other people have other questions. Maybe we'll do a free-for-all. It just gives me a little more structure, and then it's a good resource for when people come back. Good night, Tanika TTC. Good night, Deidre. Sweetheart. Good night, honey bunny. Good night, Yessie, Pravina. Good night. Bye, ladies. I will talk to you all later. Baby, that's to you all.